The disciples sat in a circle, their faces marked by curiosity and concern. One of them broke the silence, saying, "Master, I feel trapped in a race against time." The Buddha observed him with calm eyes, his presence soothing the restless minds. He replied gently, "Why do you race against time?" The disciple hesitated, unsure of his answer. Another spoke up, saying, "Time feels like a force that drives us forward without pause or mercy." The Buddha nodded and gestured toward a flower blooming nearby. He said, "This flower blooms without rushing. It simply exists." The disciples looked at the flower, their minds pondering its quiet beauty. The Buddha continued, "Do you think this flower fears time?" A disciple shook his head and said, "No, Master. It grows without resistance, accepting the rhythm of nature." The Buddha smiled softly and asked, "Then why do you resist time? Chasing after it or running from it?" The disciples remained silent, contemplating his words. The Buddha gestured toward the horizon, where the sun rose steadily. He said, "The sun never rushes. It rises and sets as it must, following the order of existence." The disciples listened intently, their hearts yearning to understand. The Buddha said, "Time is not an enemy, nor is it a companion to conquer. It is a presence to honor." One disciple asked, "Master, how can we honor time when it feels like it slips away too quickly?" The Buddha replied, "By living fully in each moment, without distraction or regret. Focus your attention on the present." Another disciple said, "But Master, the past haunts us, and the future beckons us. How can we ignore them?" The Buddha's gaze softened as he spoke. "The past is a shadow, and the future is a whisper. Neither can overpower the present." A disciple asked hesitantly, "What if we feel regret for the past or fear for the future?" The Buddha replied, "Regret and fear are burdens of the mind. Release them by returning your focus to the now." The disciples sat in silence, absorbing the depth of his words. The Buddha continued, "When you dwell in the present, you free yourself from the chains of time." One disciple said, "Master, is living in the present truly enough to overcome the pressure of time?" The Buddha smiled, saying, "Living in the present allows you to embrace life's essence. Time becomes a river you flow with peacefully." The disciples pondered his analogy, their minds seeking understanding. The Buddha gestured to the flowing stream nearby and said, "Observe this stream. Does it resist its path?" A disciple replied, "No, Master. It flows freely, carrying its waters wherever they are meant to go." The Buddha said, "Your life is like this stream. When you resist the flow, you create turbulence within your heart." The disciples nodded, recognizing the wisdom in his words. The Buddha said, "Release resistance, and you will feel time as a gentle companion." Another disciple asked, "Master, what does it mean to release resistance against time?" The Buddha replied, "It means accepting each moment as it is, without yearning or complaint. Simply be present in your existence." The disciples looked at the flower again, their thoughts aligned with its quiet rhythm. The Buddha said, "This flower teaches us to live in harmony with time's unfolding." The disciples bowed their heads, their hearts filled with gratitude for the teaching. The Buddha continued, "Let the wisdom of the flower guide your path." The disciples meditated upon his words, seeking clarity within their minds. The Buddha said, "Let go of the rush, the tension, the regret. Dwell in the beauty of now." A disciple asked, "Master, is mindfulness the key to living peacefully with time?" The Buddha smiled and replied, "Mindfulness is the practice of honoring the present. It anchors you to life's essence, beyond time's grasp." The disciples embraced his words, their understanding deepened by the teaching. The Buddha said, "Every moment offers a lesson. Each breath reveals the fullness of life." The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts renewed by his wisdom. The Buddha's serene presence remained a guiding light. The Buddha said, "Time is a gift, not a challenge. It unfolds within the space where life dwells." The disciples meditated upon his teaching, their thoughts anchored in the present. The Buddha's words resonated within their souls. The disciples departed, carrying the teaching within their hearts. They resolved to honor time by living mindfully in each moment. The Buddha walked among the flowering trees, his steps steady and unhurried. He embodied the essence of his teachings. The disciples returned to their lives, practicing mindfulness and embracing the rhythm of time. They felt peace within their hearts. The Buddha's teaching became a guiding light for those seeking harmony with time's unfolding. His wisdom echoed through the ages. The disciples gathered again, seeking further wisdom from the Buddha. They knew each moment held a lesson to cherish. The Buddha's serene gaze reminded them to live with purpose and mindfulness. Time became their quiet companion. Another day, another moment of seeking wisdom. The disciples gathered around the Buddha under the vast shade of a banyan tree. A farmer approached, his face lined with toil and worry, carrying a bowl of water as the Buddha had instructed. The Buddha greeted him warmly, his voice serene, saying, "What troubles your heart today? Good man? Share your burden with me." The farmer bowed deeply, setting the bowl down, and said, "Master, my efforts are endless, yet peace evades me completely." The Buddha gestured for him to sit and asked, "Tell me, what fills your days? What thoughts linger in your mind?" The farmer replied, "Work fills my days, Master, and at night my mind races with worry about what lies ahead." The Buddha pointed to the bowl of water and said, "Look into this bowl and tell me what you observe." The farmer gazed into the water and said, "I see my reflection, Master, though it quivers slightly, rippled by my unsteady hands." The Buddha asked, "Can you see your reflection clearly when the water is moving and disturbed?" The farmer shook his head, saying, "No, Master, the ripples distort my image, leaving it unclear and fragmented." The Buddha dipped his finger into the water, creating waves, and said, "And now, can you discern your face?" The farmer replied, "No, Master, the ripples grow larger, breaking my reflection entirely." The Buddha withdrew his hand and allowed the water to settle, saying, "What do you see when the water becomes still?" The farmer replied, "I see myself clearly now, calm and undisturbed, Master." The Buddha smiled and said, "Your mind is like this water. When restless, it distorts reality, preventing peace from settling within." The disciples listened intently, their hearts attuned to the wisdom unfolding before them. The Buddha continued, "When your thoughts are agitated by regrets and worries, your inner vision becomes unclear, just like the rippling water." The farmer asked, "Master, how can I still my thoughts and find peace amid life's endless demands and struggles?" The Buddha replied, "By bringing your attention to the present, you anchor yourself, calming the turbulent waves within your mind." The farmer said, "But Master, the past feels heavy, and the future looms large. How can I ignore their grasp on me?" The Buddha gently responded, "The past is gone, and the future is yet to come. Neither holds power over the present moment." The farmer bowed his head, saying, "Master, your words illuminate my heart. Yet, how do I practice living fully in the present?" The Buddha gestured to a bird perched nearby and said, "Observe this bird. Does it carry regret for the past or fear for tomorrow?" The farmer watched the bird, its movements simple and free, and said, "No, Master, it lives within its natural rhythm, unburdened." The Buddha said, "Like this bird, you too can find freedom by living within the natural flow of the moment." The disciples exchanged thoughtful glances, their minds pondering the depth of his analogy. The Buddha continued, "Mindfulness is the path to peace. It is the art of remaining fully present with each breath you take. The farmer asked, Master, is mindfulness something one must practice often, or does it come naturally with time? The Buddha replied, mindfulness is both a practice and a realization. It begins with effort and grows into a natural state of being. The disciples absorbed his words, their hearts resonating with the teaching unfolding before them. The farmer asked, Master, when my thoughts wander, how do I return to the present moment and find stillness again? The Buddha replied, gently guide your attention back to your breath, to the sensations of now. This is the doorway to peace. The farmer bowed deeply, saying, Master, your wisdom is a light that clears the fog of my weary heart. I am grateful. The Buddha smiled and said, gratitude itself is a present moment practice. It anchors you to the beauty of now. The disciples closed their eyes, meditating on his words, their breaths steady and mindful. The Buddha said, every moment holds the potential for clarity, for peace, and for awakening. See it, and you will find it. The farmer returned to his home, resolved to embrace the present moment in his daily life with gratitude and mindfulness. The disciples remained under the banyan tree, reflecting on the teaching and deepening their practice of mindfulness together. The Buddha's gaze softened as he said, remember, the present moment is a gift. Open it with care and live within its depth. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts aligned with the wisdom imparted by the Buddha's compassionate guidance. The farmer carried the teaching within him, finding peace in each sunrise and solace in the stillness of the night. The Buddha walked slowly among the trees, his presence radiating serenity, embodying the essence of the teaching itself. The disciples resolved to share the wisdom with others, spreading the light of mindfulness wherever their paths might lead. The Buddha's teaching echoed through the hearts of all who heard it, a timeless reminder to live fully in the present. The banyan tree stood as a silent witness to the wisdom shared beneath its canopy, a symbol of rooted peace. The disciples departed, their steps mindful and their spirits lifted by the transformative power of the Buddha's teaching. The Buddha remained, his voice a soothing current in the flowing stream of time, guiding all toward awakening. Another day, another moment of seeking truth. The disciples gathered beneath a vast sky where the lotus flowers bloomed. The Buddha held a lotus flower in his hand, its delicate petals unfolding gracefully in the morning sunlight. The disciples watched in silence as the Buddha examined the flower, his gaze steady and filled with quiet reverence. A disciple asked, Master, what does this lotus teach us about life? What wisdom does its beauty and growth hold? The Buddha replied, the lotus grows in mud but rises toward light, embracing its place and thriving despite its surroundings. Another disciple said, Master, does the lotus strive against the mud to find its beauty, or does it simply accept its path? The Buddha smiled softly and said, the lotus does not strive. It grows naturally, accepting both the mud and the light. A disciple asked, Master, how can we grow like the lotus when life's challenges and sorrows weigh heavily upon us? The Buddha gestured to the flower and said, the lotus thrives by being present in its growth, never dwelling in fear or regret. The disciples nodded thoughtfully, their minds immersed in the symbolism unfolding before them. The Buddha continued, when we release the grip of time, we find ourselves free to grow as life intends. Like the lotus, a disciple hesitantly asked, Master, how can we release the grip of time when it feels so strong and constant within us? The Buddha said, by embracing the present moment as our only reality, we loosen time's hold and find peace within. Another disciple said, Master, I fear the mistakes of my past and the uncertainties of my future. How can I overcome them? The Buddha gently replied, the past is like falling petals. Its beauty has passed. The future is like buds, yet to bloom. The disciples reflected deeply on his analogy, their hearts yearning for clarity and direction. The Buddha said, "You cannot change falling petals nor rush the buds to bloom. Your place is here, where the flower lives." One disciple asked, "Master, what if I feel the pain of regrets as if they were scars upon my heart?" The Buddha replied, "Regrets are shadows that fade when light shines upon them. Be the light that illuminates your inner being." The disciples closed their eyes, their breaths steady, feeling the calm presence of the Buddha's words. The Buddha said, "Like the lotus accepts its place. Accept your journey, both the mud and the light that nurtures you." Another disciple asked, "Master, what is the light you speak of? Is it mindfulness, or is it something beyond our understanding?" The Buddha replied, "The light is awareness, the energy of presence that radiates when we align ourselves with the moment's truth." The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts embracing the wisdom, seeking to grow as the lotus does, with resilience and grace. The Buddha said, "The mud sustains the lotus, teaching strength and grounding. Without mud, the lotus could not rise and bloom." A disciple asked, "Master, is adversity like the mud that supports us, or does it hinder our path forward?" The Buddha replied, "Adversity both supports and challenges us. It teaches us to root ourselves firmly while reaching upward toward possibility." The disciples meditated upon his teachings, their thoughts calming like still waters reflecting the lotus in their minds. The Buddha gestured toward the horizon, where sunlight painted golden hues across the fields, saying, "This moment is the light we seek." The disciples absorbed his wisdom, their hearts filled with renewed understanding of time, presence, and growth. The Buddha said, "Live fully in the now, and you will blossom into peace, no longer bound by the grip of time." A disciple asked, "Master, how can I let go of distractions and truly live in harmony with the present moment?" The Buddha replied, "Center your thoughts upon your breath, the simplest rhythm of life. Let it anchor you to the now." The disciples practiced mindful breathing together, finding clarity in their reflections and stillness in their meditations. The Buddha said, "Just as the lotus breathes life from its roots, breathe presence into your heart, embracing the moment fully." The disciples bowed deeply, filled with gratitude for the wisdom, their spirits lifted by the Buddha's gentle guidance. The Buddha walked among the lotus flowers, his steps steady and light, embodying the peace of the moment's truth. The disciples departed, carrying the teaching within their hearts, resolved to live as the lotus blooms, present and free. The lotus field remained, silent and serene, a symbol of growth, resilience, and harmony with life's unfolding rhythm. The Buddha's teachings resonated deeply, spreading through the hearts of all who heard them, a timeless guide to mindful living. The disciples embraced mindfulness and presence, finding peace beyond the grasp of time and harmony within each fleeting moment. The Buddha's voice remained like a gentle stream, flowing through the minds of all seeking wisdom and clarity in life. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.